Good afternoon, New Earth. This is Krishna Premadas. As I lie here, getting ready to start my day, uh, I like to talk about the difference between responding and reacting. Now, we have a human brain, and the human brain puts together all the puzzles and riddles of our life, looks at the patterns, and comes up with objective, logical reasoning, and we have a history, and based on our history, our human mind's going to process that data and apply it to the now, and it's also good with helping us cognize the information that we get from our higher mind or our higher self to contemplate the messages and the visions and the intuitions and the dreams that we get of the potentials of the future, because the future is not set, but you can set it with intentional, conscious, aware behavior. And that really is what being awakened or awoke really is about. Being from the moment. So when we react to situations, it's kind of like there's patterns or scripts or different scenarios in our head from our past experiences. And when we react, it's something in the now, which is designed to challenge us to grow and to move beyond reactions, to move from self-judgment and judgment of others, and to learn how to respond, which I'll talk about that in here in a second. So reacting more is, hey, you come across someone today, and maybe they have an attribute about them that bothers you or frustrates you or makes you impatient because it's something that is reflective of something that you harness in yourself that you need to learn to accept, integrate, and then you could, out of preference, alleviate, get empowered with. You get about 65 to 70% control over any of your vices or sins or weaknesses as soon as you allow yourself to acknowledge that they exist by observing your thoughts, observing your actions, and being more in the now, which takes power away from your limiting beliefs or your ego construct or your egoic nature, so you don't identify yourself with basically judging your self-worth in the moment by your weaknesses, because your weaknesses become your strengths. You look at the 7 deadly sins, there's always a polarity, a dualistic polarity opposite of that, which becomes a grace. So really, all your weaknesses are your graces when you learn to accept and integrate them and to take power over them instead of giving them power. How often do we blame our ego, which just gives it power over the ship, which ego is just meant to run security, because you could inflate it and deflate it to match frequencies to do your light work. So a lot of the stuff, the deep-seated unconscious fears from our shadow self, which is in the unconscious, that our shadow self is a side of us that we repress because it's not accepted by us or society or our family. And that side of us could be very dark and visceral, but very creative and, inventive. So there's no judgment on it. In fact, you must integrate your shadow to be a full being in unity with yourself, aligning your logical human mind with your higher mind, or your magnetic heart, as I like to call it, because the heart's a big magnet. You line that up, you embrace, you dispel your ego and dissolve it by first admitting that it's there so that it doesn't have to be there running the ship and what you identify with as your persona. And we do this by being in the now. That's why meditation is so vital. You attract what you focus on in the law of attraction. So when you meditate, you're focusing on one point and you're observing your thoughts. You're not trying to, as my ego likes to do, dispel them and get more positive thoughts, which may be a helpful method or tool. It's still running, the ego's still running the ship that way. So I have to observe my thoughts, and allow them to, because a lot of stuff we get from the collective conscious as well. So when we observe them and don't judge them, and even like, empathize with them and be like, oh, well, that's understandable. That's okay. This is the human game and it's difficult. So a lot of the stuff that we do when we get angry or frustrated or anything outside of love and peace and harmony is really not being in the moment, subconsciously drawing on information from the past with our human mind and reacting when we really, and it's very beneficial to get into the moment, still your thoughts or observe your thoughts, whatever you want to do. There's many different ways to do this. There's many paths to source energy. There's not just one method that works. We're all unique, like snowflakes. And being unique, we don't have to be snowflakers, which means narcissist or self-entitled. And narcissist really is a method of empaths that are sensitive, that are repressing who they are, repressing their shadow self, and trying to defend themselves against being attacked. So really, if you're attention seeking, then you need attention and nurture. We need to come at these things, addictions, depression, narcissism, all these different behaviors, and realize these are aberrations or symptoms of not being aligned with your true self and being in the moment, repressing your shadow self, and not feeling accepted on a sociological basis when we are, outsourcing our kindness instead of insourcing them and accepting each other without judgment and nurturing each other and hugging each other with our energy. So to get back on the point, because I digress a lot, you have these experiences and then you learn to get to invite presence into the now, like Tole would say, and get into the now and respond from the now. Time almost starts to slow because you're getting in the flow state and you get to observe your thoughts, observe people's reactions, and learn how to respond. And the best way to respond is to respond compassionately to yourself and compassionately to others. And you'll be intuitively directed by your higher self, your guide, source energy, whatever you want to call it, your angel teams, by first of all, asking for help, asking for what you want, because the universe responds to that by the law of attraction, and because the universal law of free will, you got to ask to kick in that mechanism. But also by just when you're in the now, you have this buffer, this shield against what's going on, and you can learn how to respond. And sometimes responding is, walking away, being silent, not really reacting, or genuinely throwing them off kilter by showing so much love and compassion that they have to shift their energy to respond because we are reflections of each other. And, instead of, and you can, as a Hyoka empath, as someone who mirror their energy back to them in a compassionate way. And sometimes that's tough love. And you're going to have to feel the situation out, not think it. Thinking it really comes from the ego a lot. And it's okay to think and strategize, come up with all these ideas like I'm sharing with you with my brain, putting the pieces of the puzzle together, which is brilliant, but you align that with the heart. And when you do that, it automatically comes out of unconditional love and compassion because, first of all, you are self-loving. So a lot of addictive behaviors and the things that we do is because we have an unconscious running negative self-talk and we're reacting to experiences. And what happens is we get into a state of fight or flight. We're dwelling on the past and the past mistakes, which are just really happy accidents or lessons and blessings to propel us back into the nurture of love. Or we're so excited or concerned about the future in our fight and flight, we can't be in the now and really see what's going on or appreciate and be grateful and smell the roses. And, gratitude is the attitude of change. So, getting into the now and getting into that flow and allowing yourself to just observe your thoughts, observe what's going on. And meditation is quite helpful. And there's many kinds of meditation. Washing the dishes can be meditative. Taking a walk, doing anything where you focus on something that is self-love helps your cup fill up so it's running over so you can give a drink to everybody else with your unconditional love. You can't do that without self-love. So it starts with self. And that's not rewarding yourself, but that's being good to yourself so that that's the reward. Um, so to respond is to come from compassion. And compassion trumps all, guys. Compassion trumps channeling, reading, any kind of like mystical, clairvoyant gifts really come from being in the now and being in flow state, which gets all those neurotransmitters started, which helps produce happiness. And, sometimes as simple as smiling. And there's plenty of hacks, you could do a big joker laugh and raise your frequency. You could, you could harness your sexual energy and bring it up your spine by, not releasing it, but like letting it integrate through your system and invigorate you. There's plenty of different methods and paths to the source of creation and creation energy, the creative source, aka the collective soup we like to call God, like Cryon says. But basically, you're trying to get, or you are getting into, if you're watching this video, into alignment with self and unity with self. And when you're in unity with self, you're accepting and embracing your shadow side, your duality, and you're letting your ego dissolve into the ship and become the security to your persona, your higher self or spirit through you can help run the ship and guide you. And the heart, the magnetic heart, is like the compass. The mind is like the computer processing the data. And spirit is the one invigorating you with the energy and the power to do this. We do this from the now. We do this from being here now. And sometimes as simple as breathing. Look, did you feel me ground my energy right there? Floating about in all this excitement. When you ground the energy, and sometimes that's getting a hug, drinking some water, because water is very fluid and transmutable, meaning it helps alchemize a change. And this is social alchemy because we are interacting through this medium. And the video is kind of the lube, because if I came up to you straight and talked to you like this, you might get a little triggered, because a trigger is just really an activation where you're resisting, because I'm coming out of love. My intentions are to love, to educate, to share, to grow, to learn, to experience life. And to experience life, you must experiment or explore, get off the script, and be here in the now on a new earth and learn how to respond. And hey, you're going to be challenged. And when you never really fail, but when you react, form a new self-talk by laughing at your reaction and going, oh, gosh darn it, got caught up in the human game again. Gee golly, at least I'm allowed to be aware of this and this now, because there's really no mistake. There's really no pass-fail. It's just pass. But how do you want to pass it? Do you want to pass it in nurture and love and harmony and growth and abundance? The abundance is each other. So to be in the art of abundance, or the art of attraction, whatever you want to call it, there's many different expressions for the oneness of all. You have to be in unity with self. And when you're in unity with self, and there's enough people on the planet in unity within self, you're going to find unity within the collective naturally happen. And we don't have to really plan that. And isn't that what this game is about? The game of good and evil, and the good guy and bad guy, and duality? Aren't we shifting out of that into the age of Aquarius, in this inverse age of enlightened beings? Raise our consciousness to a 5-dimensional reality, or wherever you want to go. Go to the 9th dimension. Do what you want to do. Do what you believe in. You do what I believe in, because you could take what serves you from my message and discard the rest, because this is like Legos, and you can exchange your beliefs constantly, because they're really always going to be limiting constructs from the human experience, because there's always a deeper truth, and all truths are true. They're all partial truths, and the universe is always going to come up with a new truth. There's no absolute truth other than the absolute power of unconditional love. And I love you, and I hope you feel this in this video, and I hope this was transformative. It was able to shift you into a higher reality, so that you could attract what you want into your life. And that's what I'm doing. And I've started this YouTube page. It's only a couple weeks old. Been doing it on Facebook for 3 years, working on the movie, gonna start my Patreon, and abundance is already coming. And financial abundance is an aspect of it, which I'm learning to allow more of because I needed the structure. For me to learn the law of attraction, first I had to ask for less or nothing. And the universe is neutral. It gave me what I wanted because I have the free will to choose and to ask, and it doesn't judge. Neither should you. That means if you really love God, and God and the kingdom of heaven lies within, and you're a part of that creative source, aspects of it, an earth angel, if you will, then you're going to have to forgive and love yourself, or you are not really fully embracing the divine creator. So, you really have no choice here. Love yourself. I'm not even going to give you a choice. I'm going to go back to my own narcissist behaviors and be like, you have no choice here. You must love yourself. Using logic. But if you still choose not to love yourself, I'm going to honor that choice and allow you to do it. You will vibrationally be in a different reality than me. And that's okay. Because we all allow ourselves, by getting out of the way of our own life, to make these choices so we can be contrasting experiences to each other. And isn't that what we chose when we came to this human experience as infinite, multidimensional beings of etheric, angelic nature? This is Krishna Premadas, the Catalyst, wishing you a beautiful, blessed day. Let's do it, folks. Let's manifest our reality. Let's follow our magnetic heart. Let's go for our dreams, because that's my dream, to motivate the motivators, to inspire you to follow your dreams, because I'm following mine here now on a new earth. Namastizzle.